Hello everyone and welcome back to Guild Wars Prophecies, though I don't really plan on doing too much recording at once so I don't get too far ahead of my, don't let any comments or uploads get too far behind of where I am. This time around I decided to do 2 recordings in one sitting, take about 2 hours total to get it all out, just so, you know, I could not leave the catacombs. Did a little wave in the HUD list thing, but as you can see, we all have all the same backtracking. And figured we're by the portal to the Green Hills County on a different entrance than we were before, and we need to go there anyway. So I figured, why not just walk over while it's convenient, and we don't have to do any more fighting, to head into the different explorable area. And so you can see there's, even on the map, since the spawning changed, they're not there now, but there is, on the minimap, tells us that the collector is there. Always fun how they do let quests affect how different, like the creatures that spawn in the dungeon, so it feels a little bit different depending on what's going down in there. And we are saying goodbye to the catacombs for now, but there are still a lot of bits we have not explored. So this entire area over here is all mixed with different, like caves filled with spiders that drop down from the skies, and then there's a wide open expanse that leads into the Foibles Fair, one of the other different explorable areas. And there's even this other ritual room filled with candles, though it's a bit far out of our way to walk there. And there's really nothing there for us to discover at this point in time. So we're going to go ahead and just walk forward. But I'll talk about that a little bit, because when I was designing this for a Dungeons & Dragons campaign, as mentioned in the last episode, I designed the catacombs to all the moving undead were explained as being that there was a rebel-type necromancer living in the catacombs that had been animating the dead to provide cover for the Butlaw Doomtooth. And Oberon, the other necromancer in there, was there on their side, just doing their work, aware but not reporting it, because that's their whole deal, that they're just there reclusive from the eyes of the living, and they do not care much for all any contact with the living, as he was there willing to tell the player characters who came in something, but not really work with them in any major way. But they could find them, tell them a bit about what's going on, and the betrayer who's been in there, and then how the dead have been acting as a cover, making it harder for Ascalonians to navigate the catacombs with all the dangerous undead about. And in that ritual room filled with candles, I had that betrayer necromancer make their lair, where they were summoning horrors and crypt fiends and singing such as that to even ward off adventurers, Ascalonians, and even necromancers more and more with increasingly deadly threats. And they were aware of the Char's plans. So they could try and attack him and escape, and since the player characters weren't okay with the death of their characters, if they failed to kill the necromancer, they would resurrect at the nearest resurrection shrine, with the point of exhaustion, and they'd end up having to try and catch up to the necromancer after he fled the catacombs. And they know the catacombs a lot better, and I even had to expand the catacombs a little bit to create escape routes that would go into different areas far away that would make sense for someone to make an escape, not out in the open where there's a guard right there. Oh, it was just a fun design concept to shift that stuff around, and that was a creepy noise. But we enter into the lovely, beautiful Green Hills County. Different from the dark, dreary catacombs, we see a new enemy walking about, the stone elementals. And there you can see there's 2. Hulking stone elementals are actually hostile. The regular ones won't attack you. But there's that noise, a moth spider. These are a rather popular pet. I don't believe you can tame them here, though. They are not really tameable in pre-searing, but they watch around. The moth spider and the black widow spiders are 2 very rare creatures here. 2 of the rarest pets you can get, because one you have to go into the underworld to capture, and I remember one of the proudest moments I ever had playing a ranger was going into the underworld and questing, defeating all the super deadly creatures in there, and capturing a black widow spider. And then I got the moth spider by someone selling the really rare egg for only 5,000 5 platinum on the trade market, and it felt like a steal. Because then I got the moss spider too. And we didn't talk about this before, but the Green Hills County is owned by Duke Barradin, so we're given the quest to talk to royalists who all support Barradin for the crown. Reason why is because it's all within his estate. Green Hills County is his entire province in the Ascalon area. He's a powerful man, and this is Duke Barradin's estate, sort of his own personal home. We need to go here anyway, and the catacombs entrance is perfectly suited for us to go to his outpost and talk to him. There's a ton of spiders, but this is a super nice area of like just sort of roaming farmlands. You get some like different shires, and that's here, all the different crop fields, larger house, and we can see all the different grain, corns, or whatever growing. One wild sunflower here, then just this super nice house filled with these flowing waterways, watermill, right there, whatever that's called, and it's sort of all very pretty. That's really all I can say. It's just soothing, pleasing, how like sort of peaceful it seems here. We'll go into the Barradin estate. You can see Duke Barradin also has a quest. This, however, is a warrior quest, as we don't have our second profession. The True King is a different quest. I believe that's not a warrior quest. Yep, sorry, he doesn't have the warrior quest. Little Psalm over here has the warrior quest. Oh yeah, so they both have quests relating to a second profession, but you have to be a warrior first. You can only speak to the introductory trainers for the extra skills. So we'll speak to Little Psalm. We got a quest relating to him earlier called Little Psalm's Big Cloak. We haven't collected the bear cloak yet, but it's easy to teleport back here when needed. We now have 3 of the 4 outposts. And he tells us, "They call me Little Psalm, y'all they do. I'm the axe trainer in these parts. Not to brag, but I'm the best there is. The fastest, too. What would you like to talk about today?" We'll talk to him about opposition to the king. "You've got a lot of nerve talking about that here. It's true the Duke was next in line when the royal family was assassinated, but he fully supported the crowning of Adalburn. Wasn't it the Duke, after all, who appointed Adalburn the commander of the army after the Battle of Rin?" So this provides some neat context where, even though the Duke was the heir to the throne, he supported Adalburn in the crowning, and also got along fairly well with him. And like, we're sort of the iffy person for asking about it, I guess. We're trying to just do some research, but I guess it's sort of accusing Duke Barradin himself, who has a rather good reputation. So we'll speak with him and say, "Greetings, youngster. I'm Duke Barradin. I train young warriors in the art of hammer mastery. There's nothing that drives a point home like a hammer's mighty blow, don't you agree?" "What brings you here?" We'll talk to him about a true king. I don't want to ask him about opposition to the king, as it's about him. It's fun, they give you a lot of people you can ask about this. Basically, any talkable NPC in Green Hills County has a response for this quest. But with the true king, we'll tell him, "I recently received word from Devona that a Char Ranger has been sighted south of the wall. Tom and I will begin scouring the countryside for this creature. In the meantime, I need someone to go into Regent Valley to Fort Rainick and deliver a message to warning Lord Darren. He must begin his own search for this Char fiend." So yeah, really? Okay, oh that's right. I need to clear my inventory from the last episode. All gone. So this stone will summon a fire imp, which is an elementalist with some basic elemental skills that will help us just make combat go a little bit quicker, as there's no reason to take up the extra time when we know we are sort of going to win. Once we get into sort of more complicated party, team cops, and missions, we may not really use them as much, but for now, just so it's not long slog, we'll go ahead and use them, especially if there's no challenge already, as it's an easy tutorial area, it's just time. We're going to name them Imp the Wimp, and they're going to help us every now and then. We don't want to summon them all the time because they will attack absolutely everything in sight. So we'll go back to Duke Barradin, the true king. I am honored to be entrusted with this duty, and now that we have an inventory, we can actually do it. So we're going to just take a brief walk around Green Hills County. Of course we are, I love exploring. We need to not do this, as I quickly change my mind, realizing all the space I have to walk. and we are just going to go to Ashford Abbey. And we'll go ahead and do a brief cut. We're just gonna cut and go back to the Regent Valley. Go back to the Green Hills County where Cache of Blackblood is. I actually died getting here because after leaving Ashford Abbey, I decided I did want to walk through the Green Hills County, and I got right over there where my imp's coming back. I panicked, summoned the imp, and I tried running further away, but it was 3 Grawl Shaman all bundled right on top of each other, hitting for a surprising amount of damage, and they just wiped me out. I tried to hit Blood Renewal, but it dropped my health low enough that the next wave just killed me, and I was proper panic mode. Okay, so we're here. We're with Cache of Blackblood, Grazin the Protector, Farah Capo over there. We have the last few people we're going to ask about opposition to the king. First, we'll talk to Cache of Blackblood. First, receive our reward. Excellent. The blood fanatics got what they deserved. And like, they were her students. When we fought them, they were like pure straight up skeletons down there, so it's like they did something to lose all their flesh. So we take that quest reward, and we'll go ahead and ask her about opposition to the king. Maybe you don't remember how Ascalon was before Adelburn. The crown peddled influence to guilds for the slightest show of coin. Who would wish for a thing like that to return? We'll speak to Grazin the Protector. Tith for Ashford Abbey. Sorry, I was looking at all the options. You're here to collect Baradin's Tith? You look like you could use a little assistance on the return trip. I'm certain that Duena will be watching over you, and should you encounter any bandits on your way back. And then we'll ask him about opposition to the king, as he's supposed to be Baradin's main man. From what I have seen, King Adelburn is a man of great compassion. There will always be those malcontents who seek to blame every hardship in life on the current monarch. Many of the royalists are merely misguided. In time, they will realize the error of their ways. And does that sound familiar? Misguided? How about Orion Elek, misguided youth, misplacing his angers on the crown? So we now have opposition completed, so we can see Devna. Char in the Catacombs is also completed. We just have to show him the Char Tooth. The True King won't be completed. We'll talk to Farah Capo. Never mind, we can't. And it's time to go back to the regular Ascalon. We're going to go cut over till we're back at Alcia's stage, so we're not backtracking over the same territory over and over again, and complete our Mesmer secondary profession. So we're not exactly at the stage. I instead cut till we're looking the bowl in the butt. So there's the rogue bull. We can see here it's a level 5 bull, and it's a pretty interesting creature when you start to think about it, as it has an elite skill on it. I forget which one, maybe Bull's Stance, that would make sense. If that's even a skill I'm remembering correctly, but it's actually a pretty powerful creature for a pre-searing, as it's on sort of the higher tier of high-level enemies you can fight. By itself, so not too bad, but we're going to go ahead and start engaging it. We'll go ahead and get close so we can see it's outside the aggro range. We're going to pop Blood Renewal and put the Life Siphon on it, and quickly put the Faint Hardness on it so attack the 50% speed. It's a powerful creature, so actually it's not hitting too hard right now, so that's pretty good. We're already down to all our skills, but we had it life siphoned. As soon as we get this for the Deathly Swarm, it'll be dead. Bit beefier. God, that is much less deadly when doing it at level 1. I don't even think it used its elite skill. That's too bad. I was hoping to get the flavor text. Doesn't despawn. And yeah, it is. This is a massive bowl. Even got the nose ring. So completing this quest actually will spawn another side quest in the world later on, as remember when we were talking to Gwen, she was talking how this bowl had an owner. I believe it was Old Mac. That could be wrong, but we'll see it soon. We'll go back to Lady Althea. We can see on the tooltip right here, Prince Rurik and Captain Osric are talking. About what? We shall see in a moment, as we first must get our reward from Althea. He says, back already? Excellent! I can't thank you enough for taking care of that dangerous bull. And she then says, "You have shown to have the potential to be a good mesmer. Taking mesmer as a secondary profession will give you access to all the mesmer skills and allow you to train in illusion magic, domination magic, and inspiration magic. But you must still bear the armor of your primary profession. Once you make this commitment, you will not be able to change your mind, nor will you have the opportunity to try other professions to see if you prefer them. Do you wish to make your commitment?" It's technically not true. We can change our mind just far later on in the game for the cost of 500 gold. But we'll say yes, I'm ready to become a mesmer and become a NME, Necromesmer. And she tells us, "Congratulations, you now have 2 professions. Lissa will guide you in using all your abilities to confound your enemies." So I didn't plot this earlier, but there is a statue of Lissa right here. So we've read Duena, Rent, and Balthazar. We'll go ahead and read Lissa's statue. You can see hers is pretty interesting. It's sort of that double tone. You have the pale skin, dark hair, dark dressed, and the dark skinned, pale hair, pale dressed individual, sort of symbolizing the dual nature of Lissa. As you can see, mesmers are all about illusions and associated with acting, putting on masks and faces, singing such as that. And that's sort of the general themes for this goddess. So we'll go ahead and look up the statue. "And it was that the stranger came to the village of Ren, seeking shelter and employment. Though young in years, her body was stooped and twisted, her flesh eaten by disease. 'Ye have the mark of plague upon ye,' said the citizen named Galric. 'Leave us this place, else you sicken our people.' 'I've lost my family and my home,' cried the desperate woman. 'Have you no heart?' Yet each person, in turn, did turn her away. Then from the crowd came a young woman, Sarah. She looked upon the woman with pity. 'If you need help,' said Sarah, 'I will give it.' And did Sarah approach the gnarled, bent woman and give her a helping hand. Then the sickened woman pulled from her body the robes of plague, revealing herself to be the goddess Lissa. The people of Ren fell to their knees, begging Lissa's mercy, but lifting Sarah gently, saith she, 'True beauty is measured not by appearance, but by actions and deeds. Many have eyes, but few have seen. Of all here you saw the beauty behind the illusion, and you alone shall be blessed with my gifts.'" Scriptures of Lissa, 45 before Exodus. And in contrast to Grant, this was, she was already well recognized upon revealing herself, and this is sort of Lissa pulling a stunt on a bunch of people. It does make sense when someone is riddled with the plague that could be easily spread to sort of try and not spread it more, which is not faulty logic by any means, as I guess normal people wouldn't consider that it's secretly a god revealed, but I do understand, yes, they are in pain and sick and possibly should have shelter or healing somewhere from those willing, and should not just be outright turned away and said suffer and die. But that's a whole other conundrum that we won't be getting into. And we instead will focus on this over here. Captain Osric, we saw him earlier but paid him no mind. He had a completely different appearance, and this is the only time he ever appears to look like this in regular Ascalonian Guard armor, for this one instance. So, Rurik says, "Lovely, isn't she?" Osric says, "As lovely as the day is long. You're a lucky man, your highness." "Aye, that I am. And what of the blessed event? Have you set a date?" "No, but I've got a more pressing problem, believe it or not." "What is it, my prince?" "It's Alcia's birthday tomorrow, and I haven't a gift for her. I've searched the shops, the treasure room. I need something utterly unique and breathtaking, like Althea." Now, don't give it another thought, your highness. Leave it to me." "You served me well in trying times, Osric, and for that you have my respect. If you can do this thing for me, you'll have my undying gratitude as well." And we all know how this goes. We're gonna do it for him, and he's gonna get the credit. Let's be someone's work monkey real quick, alright? We'll speak with Captain Osric. "I have a very important mission for you, Scholar Grimheart. I saw you watching." You want to do work? I'm gonna stand here. The Princess Love Althea will celebrate her birthday tomorrow. The princess charged me with finding the perfect gift, one that is as unique and beautiful as Althea herself. What say you? Can you help me? And we can handle that. So what we're going to do, we already have 2 of the 3 items. We have the beautiful feather and the beautiful pearl. The last item we'll be getting as we go along here. In this one pathway over to Ashford Abbey that we did not take before, I could have used my minimap. So we can encounter some bandits along this road, but what else we can encounter on this road are hidden stashes where we'll find the final piece to this quest. These beautiful items we're picking up are the parts to the perfect gift. But we don't need to fight these bandits, they are non-hostile to us for now. This stash was empty, so we'll continue moving forward. I'll walk past a few more fire starters. I don't believe this raider will attack us either, but once we get to this other one, they will attack, and they'll be in hordes. There's a chest right here. This chest has the beautiful pendant. So now we have all 3 items for a gift for Althea, which are along the way. And down here we now have the quest for the taxes that have been stolen from Ashford Abbey in the bandit raid. There's a lot of people here, so we're going to summon the summoning stone. And it instantly attacked that bandit fighter starter. Move on, because we're going to animate a bone horror. We're going to attack this guy right here. Get that life siphon up, get that on, put up our blood renewal, and go ahead and get our deathly swarm up because they are crowding up. Kill them. We actually get a die. We're going to put up another bone horror. Then we're going to go ahead and put up another bone horror. And then we're going to go ahead and attack these fighter starters. Now they're all going to be... Oh, this guy actually ran for it. I was expecting them to just be crowded up. We're going to start animating more bone horrors. We're going to pop our blood renewal just so we're getting health. Get more bone horrors in there. Then we just see the pop effect, a full 50 HP. More bone horrors to crowd them. Yeah, look at the glory. Just horrors everywhere. Swarming our foes. We'll let them take care of that. Oh, yep, that guy's running. It's kind of funny, he approaches the earth and then we saw the horrors come out and he started just moving away as their AI reset them to their original setting to regroup. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm so sorry. These warm belts we can actually turn in for a belt pouch if we have 5, which we do not. We just have a bunch of artifacts to pick up. Inventory is full again, so we have to ignore. Luckily there's a merchant right there. We're not going to come back for the loot, it's not important. So that we good, we get improved sale value. Highly salvageable, we're just going to sell. Yeah, we're just selling everything. My Zoom Light chest is literally filled to the brim with crafting materials. And it's kind of overwhelming. I have too many because I salvage about everything that's not improved sale value. We'll go ahead and speak with Hamish, and we're gonna just sell. And I'll say we're probably at the point where we could technically just move forward with the game, but I do just want to hit a couple other beats. We'll go ahead and pick up the other Mesmer skill quests, we'll get Orion, and then we'll go ahead and all the other stuff is on the way. And we're gonna hit the Devourer Caves in this episode. So it looks like a long list, but we can get it done pretty quick. Alright, first, Tith for Ashford Abbey. She tells us, "Thank you for delivering the Tith. I trust you didn't run into any trouble that you couldn't handle. You can be sure I'll pass word of your bravery on to Sir Titus." More XP, opposition to the king. So, the Duke's people are loyal to Aldeburn after all. I'm pleased to hear that. And then, lastly, "This is the chest of stolen gold that Baron Egan has been talking about. It must have been difficult dealing with those bandits. I'm impressed. If only we had more like you, we'd have no fear of the Char at all." And 3 quests turned in like that. So we're going to do a brief cut back to where we're right in front of the Brawl Caves. So we're back in front of the caves, the place we walked by episode 1, unintentionally because I got distracted. There's a lot of hidden stashes in here. I accidentally opened my Windows tab trying to hit Alt. And let's go ahead and talk to Duke Gavin. So, he tells us,
You there, you look like a sturdy necromancer. I've tasked my man Fadden here with retrieving devourer eggs for me in the cave over yonder. However, he appears unmanned by the devourers, unmanned by the devourers, afraid of being eaten or some rot like that. I need a brave soul to keep the devourers away from Fadden while he does a job for which he's been paid. What say you to that?
and we'll protect him. But it's like, think about this. This Duke, he just wants devourer eggs, and he's trying to send this man, a commoner, who is afraid, who has no weapons, into a cave full of ferocious, dangerous creatures, by himself. We get that poison stinger, Crichton brandy, and some good loot. We actually get 2 stingers, and I believe we only need 1. And you can just have this extra stinger that's never used again in the game. It makes sense because it does have 2 stingers on its tail, but like, I need the space. Alright, and with that we sort of finish these 3 missions all put together. But we're supposed to get an egg for the man who has the problem with the worms. We're supposed to get the eggs for Duke Gavin, and then we're also supposed to get the poison stinger to deliver to Brother Minlo. So that's another 3 quests at once, just like with Devina. They really stack things on top of each other here. They need that space for the eggs. Speak with Duke Gavin.
Well done. I'll give you a couple eggs for your trouble. I'm not usually so generous, but I happen to be in a jovial mood at the moment.
I don't like this guy. I never reallocated my stuff, so we're just gonna go back into Death Magic until we get into an outpost. We're getting pretty loaded since we now create level 6 Bone Horrors, and which are higher level than us. 50 cold damage in our Deathly Swarms, and that's all our Death Magic. So with that, we have very little to do within the walls of the estates. So we'll go ahead and just do a little bit of a teleporting and collecting around before finally finishing things off. So we're going to teleport to Ashford Abbey, and speaking about the poisonous Devourer. Is this the poisonous stinger intact? Yes, it's perfect. There's enough in here I can begin to work on an antidote. Finish that up. Alright, we're going to teleport to Ascalon to clear up 3 slots in our inventory by speaking with Captain Osric back outside. Alright, and luckily Osric is literally right here, and you can see he now has a completely different appearance. He's sporting a fire sword as well instead of the regular sword. Much more triangular beard, different armor. He has the Vanguard armor, which is Prince Rurik's own division, the Ascalon Vanguard. Not as cool looking, but still pretty good. So we'll speak to him about a gift for Althea. So, have you found the perfect gift yet? Remember, like Lady Althea, it must be beautiful. And that's your hint. All the beautiful objects. Well, this is a magnificent feather. One could probably fashion an exquisite riding quill from it, but I believe we need something a bit more regal for Our Lady. Please keep looking. A gift for Althea. Give beautiful pearl. A pearl? Simple, elegant. But Althea must have something more unique and more personal. Please keep looking. And then, wherever did you find this beautiful pendant? Yes, this is the perfect gift for Althea. Prince Rurik will be delighted. I'll make sure he knows of your involvement in obtaining the one thing that is sure to please his lady. Now this is what I was talking about earlier. You can see Mr. Old Mac is walking back. I think we missed some dialogue. Yep, we can't read it in chat. It's one of those ambient dialogues, but we'll speak with Old Mac. Oh god, yep, he says, You're the one that killed my bull, Bill. 'Twas Althea's bidding, sure, but that's not to me. If you and that Althea woman won't compensate me, I'll take my case to the constabulary, and I'll get satisfaction. That bull protected my farm for all these years. Who will protect it now? Wait, you know what might do the trick? A devourer might. I could raise it from a hatchling and train it myself. Tell you what, you bring me a devourer egg, and we'll call it even. What do you say? And we'll say you've got a deal. Luckily, we just picked up eggs. Convenient timing. Ah, that's lovely. Devour egg all my own. I think I'll call him Joe. Come, Joe. Let's give you someplace warm and dry. Shh. There's a good egg. And yeah, I just imagine this farmer walking away, just cradling an egg and petting it. It's a fun image. Yeah, he says, there's only so much abuse a man will take. I'm nearly at my limit. Alright, so we do that. I did want to wait to do the Mesmer quest until I knew I would loop around and do the other quest at the same time. And we'll go ahead and cut back to Ashford Abbey, and now that we have the other egg, and deliver this to Pitney. We'll see you all later. We'll be there right when we get to Pitney. I'm ending the cut right here. So I had the past videos start out with this, but there are prize-winning hogs everywhere, and the frustrated farmer Dirk. Well, it's something I found. If you actually herd all the hogs back into the pen for Farmer Dirk, it's not even a quest. Isn't something that comes up or something that tells you can even be done. But you can chase them. And you sort of like herd them, and they start running. If you get all of them back into the pen, he gives you like 50 gold or something, and you can just keep on doing it each time you load in. So you could just like infinitely farm gold that way, though it's definitely boring and not easy. Alright, so we'll speak with Pitney. I'm not much for the city, nope. Ashford is more my speed. Say, what seems to be on your mind? The worm problem. Alright, I'll learn the queen out to the open, you do the killing. So we use up the final Devourer egg. This is more of a side quest. We're gonna walk over there really quick. And by that, I mean it's a speed up. Okay, we killed a wolf in the speed up. We summoned the worm queen. She instantly goes back down on the ground. This is why worms are annoying. She comes right back up where she was. She's pretty weak, so we're just going to spam her with our attacks and get her down pretty quickly. Luckily, none of the other worms attack us. They're not going to, like, swarm us. Then we'll just talk to Pitney. And he says, thank you so much. Those worms won't be a problem now. Simple, done and over. You're not going to do this. So after you do this, he has a prize-winning Moa bird. The worms were a problem for him first, and now there is a Moa bird deep in the catacombs. We're a strong necromancer, yes, but we are done there. Where that quest takes you is that ritual room with all the candles that I was telling you about at the very beginning of the episode. The Moa bird is in there. I don't believe you can actually save it, as I believe it is killed, but we're not going to do that much re-walking around and through the entire dungeon. Instead, we're just going to take a quick, simple walk over to this other portal. It's short enough that I'll say we won't cut. We'll just go back into Control Shift H here. We go for our pleasant first-person stroll as we go to the final portal. Interestingly, as we sort of walk about here, there is this other pathway up to the top that leads to a nice little beautiful garden area. And there's also there's that entire region with the lake, and there's a cave in there that you go where you can fight a scale brood queen. And it's like there's never any quest associated with it. As we approach this one, this is a brood caller. So they're level 2, slightly more dangerous. And the brood queen is, I believe, level 4, and on par for one of the highest level monsters in the tutorial part of the game. And you might have just seen it on the little name bar that just popped up. But there is a unique creature up there that we're going to be seeing in a second, after we kill this last brood caller. But yeah, we get up to this place. There's this large rock waterfall up at the very top that it goes even higher. I'd love to see, I know it may just be waterfall assets, but it's like imagining this stony, small little pond up at the top of the cliff, isolated from everything. That seems impossible to even get to, just from the pure height and escalation. And then in this field of flowers, little stone pond that leads even further down, all the way down to that area where the scale brood are, is just a singular rabbit sitting about. Yep, just a rabbit. I mean, not super high textured, but I mean, it's a 2006 game. A pretty good rabbit. What was really fun, there'd be tonics that would turn you into a rabbit, and you just turn yourself and town into a rabbit and just hop around. That is always fun. It has no dialogue because it is indeed a rabbit. We can't kill it because it is too cruel to let you kill a rabbit in this game. And that's all. It was just a nice little sightly detour. Next we'll be hitting the Foibles Fair, I believe it's called. Approaching a new area of the game, and that's funny, when you hide the HUD, you hide the loading screen bar too and just get the flat thing. So we take the first few steps into the Wizard's Folly. First, large tree, then we start seeing the little tips of ice peaks and a floating tower large above the skyline of these peaks. I'm not saying words very well. And hulking stone elementals, some bandits to the right, and a black bear to the left. Well, looks like we have to get back to killing because we need a bear pelt for little Thom. Now the bears are level 3, and I remember a lot of rangers would try and tame bears in pre-searing because it's a bear, and the bear is a special pet because it has an action that can knock you down. We may see it in a second unless we kill it too quick. Yeah, brutal mauling. Oh, it doesn't knock you down. Just like when a ranger would try and tame a bear, they'd get hit by brutal mauling and then they'd be knocked down on the ground and be interrupted in their taming. And even then, I don't know if you can even tame a bear in pre-searing as AI doesn't allow it. The same deal with the moss spiders. So now that we didn't have a cloak, they didn't drop one. So we'll just keep on killing bears. Wipe out the population. So we finally get a double drop of bear pelts. We literally only need one. I didn't even think you could get 2 pelts from one bear. We're going to delete this stinger because we don't need it, and then pick up this bear pelt and leave the other one on the ground because you can't do anything else with it. And we're going to go ahead and take the Wayward Wizard and go into Foibles Fair. Just took that quick brief walk. I had to kill a lot more bears than I was expecting. It was only like 4 bears, but still that is, like, you'd think after the first couple with pre-searing with like how little things they actually drop. And it's like bears technically are only drop the bear pelt in the quest. You get a collector, a healer that maintains every resurrection shrine. And we'll go into Foibles Fair, a sort of wizard mesmer centric area. And we have 2 people here, Vasar and Relina Stormbringer. Vasar is a mesmer trainer, so we can pick up a couple more skills from him. But we'll talk about her with the Wayward Wizard, air magic, and she tells us, I can tell you where Orion went. He headed northwest past the road. He thinks he'll find some royalists there, but Vasar thinks it won't work. I hope he doesn't go get himself killed, but he can't expect me to go tromping all over the mountain looking for him, and talk to Vasar. My name is Vasar. Perhaps you've heard of me. I am known as the regional expert in the art of domination. So he tells us elementals may frighten Lackwitz with no greater concept of combat than striking someone with an oversized mallet, but any mesmer with his assault is a far greater threat than a robed buffoon who likes to play with fire. It's true mesmers are often discounted for their use of illusions, but the most masterful mesmers eschew illusions for mental domination. A small army of skill are marching through the woods to the east. I will teach you a few skills that should help you dispatch them far better than the brute force an elementalist would employ. And you will know what it's like to wield real power. And we say leave it to me. We get Backfire, which is an extremely powerful hex, which just means every time they cast a spell, so it's like basically caster shutdown. When you boost your domination magic, the damage can skyrocket, especially when you have skills that are instant activation like blood magic. We'll equip that later. Shattered Illusion. It removes the hex from target foe and they take 15 AoE damage. So what you can do with this is you can hex a foe with something that goes really quick, keep track of it on, then do this and cause AoE damage. And I do want to show this off really quick, so we're gonna just do a small little walkthrough. These ice elementals are hostile and will kill you. These ones will fight the monk. There isn't many of them until we get to our destination, but we want to go ahead and see that tower that was poking above the peaks of the mountain. It's up rather high, and we'll just go ahead and kill this one ice elemental that blocks our path. Click on them just so we get our targeting in, walk automatically. I've talked about this before, but once again, I wish so many other games had like the point you can just click on something and your character will just do the pathfinding and walk there. Like I play a few other, like another MMO I play pretty frequently is Final Fantasy XIV, and the amount of times I click on something and I'm just like too far away, so now I have to go back and do it again, and like move myself forward. Sometimes it gets somewhat annoying because I'm just like, all I'm doing is like crafting or something, and then I want to go to my summoning bell slightly too far away, or I click on it expecting to move over just because it's habitual, playing things like Divinity, Original Sin, XCOM, and this, Guild Wars 1, that you can just, whenever you click on something, your character walks there, and you don't have to WASD control. And going back to it is just like, it's a small quality of life. So, though we have no quest, we're going to speak to Elementalist Azjuir, wearing some Elementalist robes. She tells us time, life, truth. You bring the Order new knowledge of any of these things. So, with that, the Order is sort of a order of magic users who sort of preside within the tower and have some like control or study of magic that's sort of separated from itself. And you can see it's an interesting concept of design, as there are 6 chains attached to 6 rocks embedded in the earth, then attach this tower above here to sort of keep it grounded. It's also attached to sort of this monolith obelisk thing right here, which is a strange structure in itself, but like it's like the core fundamentals that make it a tower are extremely high up, and it's like just the classic wizard's tower. We learn very little things about the Order, what they do, like their philosophy, literally anything about them, other than the fact they have this tower here. That Elementalist is a part of it, and I believe Barata is somewhat a part of it, though I believe he gets expelled. But yeah, it's just one of the more interesting lore bits that is a bit of a mystery, as they sort of create this image of this magic faction who exist here in this tower high in the Shiver Peak Mountains. But their presence in the world, what they do, and what secrets they have are completely unknown. There's another wizard's tower in the game here that still persists all the way into Guild Wars 2 and is on a much grander scale than in the first game, and has even more mystery packed into it, because there's like people will be recruited into the Wizard's Tower from this village that the owner of the tower sort of protects with elementals they put in to create a little sanctuary of protection where they need not worry. And yet the people that go there never come back, and what's being done in that tower, no one knows. No one's seen the owner or ever been like in direct communication with them. So it's sort of just like, what is even going on in there? It's been a mystery since Guild Wars 2 has practically launched, with very little notes about it. And I sort of wish they'd sort of do an update surrounding that massive Wizard's Tower, because one, it's absolutely gigantic in Guild Wars 2, and it's a pretty big mystery of its own in this game, as there's actually a few quests that relate to being around it. So we're going to go ahead and ignore this quest. It's not important. I'm going to do it off screen. We're going to just do a quick teleport back to Ascalon City, get the char in the catacombs done. So he says, "This is proof enough. You have served Ascalon well this day. I'll mobilize troops and search for this beast." Gives us 100 gold. Thank you very much. Clear up another inventory slot. And we're going to go speak to Armin Saberlin. Like, there's still a pretty good community here in Pre-Searing. Like, there's always people in the city. Right now, we're only at 1 district, as it's not as, maybe, I think, a lot of people may be in Embark Beach doing quests and mission outposts for the anniversary, getting the skills and the proofs of victory or triumph to get the anniversary weapons, but us, we're doing this. So, Armin Saberlin tells us, "Choosing a second profession can be one of the most difficult decisions facing a young soldier, but don't be afraid. You've made the wrong..." I read that wrong. "Don't be afraid. You've made the wrong choice." Okay. There is no right or wrong choice. Every combination of professions has unique benefits and possibilities. Now it's up to you to take advantage of them. Accept this? And he says, "You look ready for wars, Scala Grimheart. Ready as any of us are for the first time, at any rate. That's good from what I've seen. The party will be prepared to head out soon. You best go talk to Sir Titus, lest they set forth without you." So we'll say I am on my way, and this is what will take us out of the tutorial. So we're not going to start this yet. I'm going to say this is probably as good as a place as any to end it. We never looked for Orion. I meant to do that while we were in it, but I got distracted. We'll start off next episode we'll be by Orion and we'll talk to him before finally going out into Regent Valley, exploring a little over there, finding Fort Rainick, and meeting the few of the slightly recurring characters out there. Maybe take a brief venture out into the Northlands to see how deadly the Char threat actually is. Then, knowing that war is coming, we'll finally set out. See you all next time. Sorry for all the cuts and speed forwards. There's a lot going on.